Welcome to this week's edition of Islanders Insiders. We come to you from the locker room once again this week as we talk some more Islanders basketball for Texas A&M University Corpus Christi. We're going to talk men's and women's basketball, but today a little bit different. We're not with the coaches. We're bringing in the athletes. We'll be joined in just a moment by two members of the Islanders men's basketball team, as well as two members of the women's team, which will be joining us a bit later in the show. We also have a feature segment talking to you about the facilities here at Texas A&M University Corpus Christi and, well, their continued growth. That's all coming your way today. Let's start things off with a couple Islanders men's basketball players. The sophomore from San Leandro High School in Hayward, California, Mr. Hamid Ali, and from Moulton, Texas, Mr. Kenan Dvorak. How you doing, guys?
Good.
Pretty good.
Let's talk to Hamid a little bit real quick. Now, everybody tells me about Hamid and the change in Hamid this season. They say that you kind of taken this leadership role to another level, much more vocal, much more aggressive, much more assertive. You know, where did that come from?
In the beginning of the year, we had a conversation, me and Coach Wilson, and he said, we're a young team. You've been here for a year now, so you're going to have to kind of show the guys the ropes. So I just try to be vocal, let them know what I know, and just try to help them out as much as I can.
You're very aggressive and you're very enthusiastic. On top of it, you're assertive, like you will confront a teammate to try and be a leader, but you're also very enthusiastic and try to be as uplifting as you can.
Yes, sir. Different times calls for different measures. So sometimes I feel like when I feel like the team is down, I feel like I got to pick the spirits up. And other times when I feel like we're too loose, it's time to get us back focused. So I try to do the right thing.
Now, while Hamid comes from California, Kenan, sophomore here, is a Texas boy. And you're a junior. But it's been an interesting little path for you to get to where you are today. Now, you come from Moulton, Texas. That's a 1A school, about as small town as you can get. And did you ever think, coming from the 1A school, that one day you'd be able to turn that into an opportunity in Division I basketball?
I can't say that I did. Whenever I was leaving high school, I never would have thought that I was going to be playing Division I basketball. It was always a dream of mine, and it was always something I was planning to work towards. But, you know, coming out, like you said, of a 1A school, it wasn't something that that you would say is easy to do.
No, not too easy. As a matter of fact, there's an interesting, pathway for you to get to this point. Kind of tell us a little bit of what it took to get here.
A lot of gym time. That's where I spent a lot of my hours. You know, in high school, there wasn't a lot of times where I'd do all the things that my friends were doing. A lot of my time was spent in my gym. A lot of times the coach would even just let me have the key, so that way I could just keep going in there as much as I wanted to. And after I got out of high school and I got here to Corpus Christi, again, a lot of time was spent in the Dugan, practicing, working on my game. Working with some other guys that were in there with me. Just a lot of little things that I had to do to get there. But
now I understand there was a tryout process. You joined the team via the tryout, but you didn't make it the first time.
No, the first year I didn't make it, and it was a little discouraging at first, but it didn't stop me from continuing to work hard and continue to try. And I figured, I've got nothing to lose, so I kept working hard, and here I am.
Now, of course, Hamid came to us from California and was a recruited athlete. I remember when we met on your visit here, and it was kind of exciting when they told me that you came with us. But, you've seen this team. You've been involved in some of the highs and some of the lows with it. And the team has kind of started off with some struggles right now. But tell me, have you seen continued improvement, and is the team going to be prepared and ready when conference play gets underway?
Yes, sir. This past 2 weeks were probably our best 2 weeks practice-wise. Everybody's been more focused, and you can see that they're starting to understand what it takes to win, and we're starting to do it in practice more than just waiting for the game time. And I think everybody should be ready by the time the end of December comes.
It's all hard work, though.
Yes, sir.
You talk about the gym time in particular, and I mentioned a moment ago that Kenan is a walk-on player that has found his way into extended minutes and a substantial contributing position. Mm-hmm. Now, there are a lot of guys on this team that may not get the same minutes that Kenan does, but tell me about those guys. Tell me how important those guys are, because the way they help you guys get prepared for, the upcoming matchup, whatever that may be.
Mm-hmm. Everybody has a role on this team, and everybody has talent. So there's not one day you could go in practice and have a matchup where you could slack. every time you're matched up with somebody, if you take a play off, they will burn you. And when it's time for the scouting team, it's tough. It's tough.
The scout team is, yeah, because for one thing, as much as they're there to try and help you get prepared, they want to beat you bad, don't they?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They want to play too.
Do they beat you?
Sometimes.
Sometimes I was wondering if you were going to admit that.
Sometimes they do. Not too many, though. Not too many.
Because no one wants to be the one on the line first. Running that next horse, there's no doubt. Kind of tell me a little bit about your best contribution to the team. What do you do that really helps this team?
I've kind of gotten into the point where I do all the little things that Coach asks. You know, Coach has his ways that he wants things done. And I feel that if I do them exactly the way he wants it, it kind of is an example for everybody else to follow. And that way, if I do it, you know, maybe everybody else will follow what I'm doing. And, you know, slowly but surely we will get to where we want to be.
Some of you may have never seen an Islanders basketball game, may be familiar with these guys before because, well, you can find them in other places. Tell me a little bit about the Hameed Ali mixtape on YouTube. Do you know how many hits there are as of today?
About I don't know. I'm not too
I'll just
sure.
take up to taping 14,592 hits. What do you think about that? Well, how many of those were you?
About 10,000. No, I just laugh. But we have there's a guy, Travis, named Travis. He does this little Yay Area's finest things, and he tries to get all the talent out the Bay Area and just tapes them and puts it on YouTube and tries to get our name out there. And I respect him for that.
Now, Kenan, you're on YouTube as well. Maybe not necessarily in the mixtape, but there's a real good video on there acknowledging the fact that you were named to the National Association of Basketball Coaches 2011-2012 Honor Court. That's a real good piece talking about that. Tell us a little bit about that honor that you earned.
It was great. You know, whenever I first heard about it, I was told a little bit about what it was, and you know, after I heard that, I was really, really honored, and I felt really proud, you know, to do that and explaining that to, you know, the family, of course. That was always good to hear from them. My mom's always proud to hear stuff like that. But for me, it was big. You know, I work hard on and off the court, so I'm glad that, you know, I got a little recognition for that.
Let me ask you guys something to wrap some things up today. You know, your collegiate experience is great. I'm sure your high school experience and just playing the game overall across your lifetime has been great. What's your best basketball memory? Kenan?
For me, it's got to be the very first time I stepped on the floor for Division I basketball. I remember it was West Virginia, and you know, there wasn't much time left. This was kind of when I was first getting into my playing time, and you know, there was a few minutes left on the clock, and you know, Coach called my number, and I went in, and you know, playing in somewhere like West Virginia, it's a big time school, all the lights, all the people. It was just an amazing experience and feeling to get a be there at that time.
That was impressive. Hameed?
I had a couple good moments. Versus Sam Houston State last year, when John kicked it to me in the corner, I made a game winner. That was a big one. But I think my favorite has to be my last home high school game. I made a game-winning shot, and everybody was chasing me around the gym, but I was running to my family. And when I got there, like, they tackled me. But I wasn't on the bottom. It was my little cousin. Well, he's older than me. It was my little cousin on the bottom. He was about 5'4", 5'5", and he was shouting all types of stuff, and it was just a fun time for me.
That's great. Hameed, Kenan, we appreciate you coming today.
Thanks for having us.
You got it. When we come back, we're going to check in with our field correspondent, Eric Cantu, and he's going to tell us a little bit more about the Islanders' facilities, the progress that's been made here on the campus at Texas A&M University Corpus Christi. That's coming your way, right here on Islanders Insider. Welcome back to Islanders Insider. Right now, let's check in with our own Eric Cantu as he tells us a little bit about the progress that has been made with Texas A&M Corpus Christi Islander athletic facilities. Let's check in with him right now.
Having quality facilities is a crucial aspect to success in college athletics. From recruiting to community support, building top-notch complexes play a huge role. And the growth in facilities at the Island University over the last several years is palpable.
Since I've arrived here 4 years ago, we've made great strides in renovating current facilities, but also building new ones.
The first major new athletics facility built at Texas A&M Corpus Christi, the Thomas J. Henry Tennis Center, provides Director of Tennis Steve Moore with one of the finest tennis complexes, not just regionally, but nationally.
About a year and a half ago, we opened up the Thomas J. Henry Tennis Center. 12 championship courts over on the Momentum campus, the very first facility built out on the Momentum campus. It's also great for the community in that area too, because now instead of just an open field, they've got a really nice tennis facility. It brightens up that area. It makes it look really nice. And we couldn't have that without the generous donation from Thomas J. Henry.
The Thomas J. Henry Tennis Center took our program to another level. The first thing a recruit asks is the culture of your team. The second thing they're going to ask is, where am I playing? And that question just became a home run for the Islanders.
Nearby, the Dr. Jack Dugan Family Soccer and Track Complex broke ground earlier in 2012 and is scheduled for completion in the coming months. The facility will provide the track program with its first permanent home in school history and will also be the home for the fledgling Islanders soccer program.
You know, we've had a track program for 13 years, but the only place they've been able to practice on a track is about 20 minutes away on the other side of Corpus Christi. So our coach Flanagan, who's been here since the beginning, is extremely ecstatic. He's finally going to have his own track, which will help him tremendously in being able to recruit track athletes.
It's all been worth the wait. It's going to be a sight to behold. We will have a first-class track facility. It's going to be lovely, totally great.
You know, each week we kind of get to drive by on our way into work and see the progress being made, see the actual structure now. We can't wait till we actually bring recruits there and be able to show them firsthand that this is where they'll be and that they'll be the first group, the first class to actually get to use the facilities and help build our traditions and culture within the walls and out on the field.
But new facilities aren't the only development. Last year, the university invested in upgrades to Chapman Field for baseball and softball, the most obvious being the addition of lights, which allowed for night baseball to be played on Ward Island for the first time.
The facility completely changed how this program does our business. And I think the university's jumping in and getting behind the facility and really making a statement about the present day atmosphere, a place where we can go about our work, and obviously the future of this program was huge, and I can't say enough about it.
Though the Islanders have made significant investments in recent years, there are several other projects ahead, including renovation of the basketball practice facility. But with the development in facilities, the Islanders have also seen development in the way they are perceived by the community and throughout college athletics.
We want to get the whole community out there. The community's helped provide the funding to build this rascal, so we want to give back and make it available for the people in the community so that it's not just the Islanders, but the Islanders encompass everybody in Corpus Christi, so it's going to be great.
When you have a shabby facility, the first thing that people say is, how committed are they? People are not saying that here anymore. They feel we're very, very committed, and for good reason, because we are.
For Islanders Insider, I'm Eric Cantu. We'll be back with more after this.
Welcome back to Islanders Insiders. We come to you from the locker room once again today. It's time to talk some women's basketball. But unlike weeks prior when we had Coach Royce Chadwick, today we're joined by a couple Islander women's players. We're joined by a couple of juniors, Taryn Gregory and Ashley Darling. Thank you folks for being here today.
Not a problem.
No problem. Glad to hear that. Now, Ashley, you can tell immediately. Got a great smile, super attitude. But for you, kind of keeping healthy has been a challenge. Now, every time I see you one way or another, you seem to have an ice pack on you somewhere. Now, I know you're coming off your most recent injury and ankle. How is that affecting you? How are you feeling? And how much practice time have you had?
Not a lot of practice time, but, I still feel good. Still want to be there for my teammates in practice, cheering them on. So that's what I'm looking forward to, helping them out.
Relegated to a bit of a cheerleader role?
Yes.
Okay. Slow process. Well, I understand. Now, Taryn, let me ask you this. Now, since the first game of the season, well, actually the second game of the season, you've been inserted into the starting lineup and you've taken that role and run with it. Now, what do you think that you did to impress Coach Chadwick to say, to give you that trust to let you go out there on the floor and be his point guard?
I just stayed after it. He encouraged me to keep fighting and make my teammates better, and that's what I did. I just wanted to be the floor general. I wanted to be the go-to person. So I just kept positive about it, kept fighting, and I'm where I'm at now.
Now, that's always been your role. You've always been a point guard. Is that correct? All through your high school days at Channelview?
Yes, sir. Always been a point guard. I don't think that's going to change no time soon.
Not going to be moving to the center anytime soon, huh?
If I could, I would.
Well, well, I understand. Now, both of you are looked upon for leadership. You're both juniors on this team. And, well, in your case, you know, Ashley, do you relish that opportunity to take on this role?
Yes. You know, I try to be the best positive person I can be out there for my teammates, and I just try to stay positive at all times. Keep my head up so I can keep their heads up.
Well, give me an example of something you would say, you know, to, you know, positively just or negatively, however you choose to do so, to try and, you know, keep the fire going in practice.
An example would be like if we're running sprints or whatever, just, you know, motivating, telling them you got it, you can do it, you're not tired, keep your head up, stand up when you're tired, you know, just to, you know, stuff like that, just to motivate them.
Now, Terry, in your case, you know, well, she has no problem opening her mouth and talking. Now, you're kind of come up with a different approach. Tell me about it.
I'm a lead by example type player. With Dar, she wants to talk. I don't really talk too much. If Coach gives me an assignment, I take it, and then I react.
Kind of the strong, silent type?
Pretty much.
But leading by example. But, you know, do you feel the players respond well to you? Both?
Yes, I think so. Yes, sir.
Well, that's a good thing. Now, let me ask you something. Changing the topic entirely. What's one of the funniest things that has happened this either? Whether locker room, in practice, on the bus?
Coach has his weird ways of trying to motivate us. He'll say little funny stuff about chickens and rabbits. It don't even match horses and flies. We don't understand nothing. We just keep laughing about it in the locker room. So I think that's one of the funniest moments. And with Coach White, she just wants us to run. So every time we mess up, get on the line, and we look at her and start laughing like, that's all you want us to do, Coach, not a second chance.
Well, that's great. Well, everybody has their own way, that's for sure. Now, getting back to basketball, one thing I know about you, and I've talked to the coaches about you, is something you did and made a decision to do a long time ago. You're a right-handed player, but you've worked so hard on your opposite hand. Why did you do that?
Well, it really motivated me because Coach Chadwick said on the scouting report that I'm very right-handed, so try to cut off my right hand. So I wanted to be a point guard where I can go both ways, be strong both ways. And so during the summertime, I worked on my left hand and doing stuff with my left hand, dribbling, wise, passing, and pretty good at it right now.
Well, like we said, you've been starting almost since the beginning of the season. Obviously something went right there, no doubt. You know, for both of you, I know that being an athlete is one thing. Being a student athlete is so incredibly challenging. Now, Ashley in particular, when I see her on a regular basis, she kind of hangs around our building, and I always catch her with her nose in a book. And I know academics is really important to you. What are some of your plans for you with your education?
Well, I'm studying criminal justice. I want to be like a guidance counselor for abused or neglected children. So it's very interesting to me. I get to see how other people live their lives, and so that's where I'm going with it, trying to be a guidance counselor.
Do you have any plans post-college in mind already?
Well, I'm also majoring in criminal justice, and I want to be an FBI agent. I think that play a part of me being so quiet. We just think stuff through, and then we respond. So that's what I'm trying to work on going towards, is being an FBI agent.
Well, I like that. Well, one last thing before we wrap things up. Now, you started talking about Coach Chadwick a little earlier about some of the things he says. Now, give me your best impression of Coach Chadwick, you know, whether the mannerisms or favorite things. Come on, give me your best one.
Let me think of
You won't get in trouble, I promise.
We don't really have nothing that he
really
says
doesn't.
every day, but when we're stretching and stuff, he always tell us, let's have a good practice, let's have a good day. He just...
Very motivating.
Yes, he is. He really is.
I was expecting something more about the chickens and rabbits and stuff, but okay.
I can't think of one right now.
That's all right. Terry and Gregory, Ashley Darley, Islanders women's basketball. Appreciate you taking the time today, and I'm glad we had this opportunity to introduce you to the folks out in TV land.
Thanks for having us.
You got it. When we come back, we'll wrap some things up, tell you about what's coming up next for Islander men's and women's basketball. All that right here on Islanders Insider. Welcome back to Islanders Insider. We want to thank once again Kenan Dvorak and Hamid Ali of Islanders men's basketball and Taryn Gregory and Ashley Darley of Islanders women's basketball for joining us here in the locker room today. Right now, let's check in on what's ahead for both Islanders men's and women's basketball. Islanders men's basketball will take to the court at the American Bank Center on Friday, December 21st as they host UTSA, former Southland Conference foe. That time, 7 o'clock start. Then on the 29th, it'll be the Islanders opening up Southland Conference play also at the American Bank Center, 3 o'clock start as they take on Stephen F. Austin. Then the men's team will travel on December 31st, New Year's Eve, to Norman, Oklahoma as the Oklahoma Sooners host your Islander men. Start time, 2 o'clock. Islanders women's basketball will take to the court next on December 29th as they travel to Fort Worth, Texas to take on the TCU Horned Frogs. That game slotted for a 5 o'clock start time. And then when we move into the month of January, Islanders doubleheaders get underway as both men's and women's basketball head to Huntsville to take on Sam Houston State. The women's game starts at 1:30 while the men take the court at 4. For more information about Islanders schedules, rosters, all types of information, of course, you can go to www.goislanders.com, or for immediate information, follow the Islanders on Twitter or Facebook. We want to thank everybody for coming in today. Hamid Ali and Kenan Dvorak from the Islanders men's basketball team, along with Taryn Gregory and Ashley Darley from Islanders women. Also, thanks go out to Eric Cantu and the update, bringing you up to speed on what's happening here on the campus of Texas A&M University Corpus Christi. For everyone here in the locker room, I'm Stephen King. Thank you for joining us once again for Islanders Insider.